So I would like to say welcome to everyone to our next guest for today, which is Priscilla Koukoui from OviSquare. So before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet. I'm on the Wurundjeri land of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So Priscilla, it is so amazing to have you on board. Thank you so much for being part of the Business Unusual series, and cannot wait to unpack what your entrepreneurial journey has been so far.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to share my experience and my journey.
Excellent. Well, to start off, tell us more about yourself. Who is Priscilla Koukoui?
Yeah, it's a wide and interesting question that I ask myself as well. So where should I start? I will start by saying that I'm a French Australian. So I was born in France and I've been in Australia for the past 10 years. So yeah, I'm born in France in a small village of 2,000 inhabitants, and my family has been in that village for over 7 generations. And we were the first Black family actually in my village. So this is a bit of my background, strong roots. Then on maybe what I currently do. I drive innovation in corporation. So by day, I have a full-time job and I actually work for full-time for a company where I assist companies and driving new behavior, implementing the agile methodology. And on the side, at the moment, I have my own company called OviSquare. So I sometimes work full-time for OviSquare and I sometimes work just on the side as a side project for my own company. And I've been setting up companies since 2005. So it's not my first venture, but yeah, it's my 3-year-old baby at the moment.
That's amazing. So you've been in Australia 10 years and basically your family history is in France. What made you move to Australia 10 years ago?
So before Australia, I was for about 10 years in Asia, mainly in Southeast Asia. And it was just the continuity, let's say, if I want to make it short. I get lucky enough to live overseas and follow what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to go in Asia. Why not? Where I stayed for about 10 years, working in almost every country in Southeast Asia except Indonesia and Philippines. And I found love, and we decided to move together in Australia.
That's amazing. And you're in a very interesting industry, actually, which is, AR, VR, and in the emerging tech. Is this something that you had a passion for before? Like, is it something that you always wanted to pursue?
No, absolutely not. I always wish to understand the world, how things work, how as humans we connect, how we can work together, how we can create and build things together, what things are made of. So I would say I just have a really curious mind and an appetite for trying new things, going in new places. So it's just what drives me to come in Australia. And I guess I get lucky enough to have time to develop a passion, which is a differing passion for me, the immersive technology space. Virtual reality and augmented reality are really a passion for me. Like I eat it, I read about it every day for several hours. Like I'm never, so I get lucky enough to have the time to invest in a passion, but it didn't happen straight away. It was more coming, little by little, pieces by pieces, because I have a really curious mind. For me, it's about what would stick and stay. It's about having the will to continue working on the same project and working for innovation is just perfect because it's changing all the time, and I can adapt again to new things. So it has been just a good way to channel one, my creativity, and two, just my interest for complexity and tech is a big word, digital maybe, for digital stuff.
Amazing. I'm really curious to learn more about your first business that you established. What was that about?
My very first business, it was about because I was traveling around the world, I was gathering those weird objects, and I wanted to just sell them. You know, like for example, a spoon, a butter spoon from Nepal, or you know, like some weird objects of the world. And we just, you know, it was a time of maybe the first website, and we built a website, and I just wanted to sell online. It was, you know, fashionable, and I just wanted to target an audience of person interested in those weird but interesting objects.
Oh, that's really nice and interesting to see that you identified, you know, something that you liked and were passionate about, and leveraged the experiences that you're having whilst traveling as well. How was that entrepreneurial journey, you know, traveling around the world whilst also running a business?
Yeah, so I see it really completely differently. And when I don't work for my own projects, I tend to work with other people, other startups, I mean, because I definitely very often have a full day job on the side, or as my, you know, having my full-time job, and on the side, either working for my own projects or working for some other startups company. So it's where would I start with the entrepreneurial? I don't think that it was directly linked with my will to travel. I think that I'm just opportunistic, and I enjoy doing things, and I enjoy doing lots of different things. And having my own company always push me to, you know, have an understanding and experience by myself marketing and digital marketing, and all the other industry, one, when I work for my clients, and two, inside your own company. You know, you do sales, you do marketing, you do the financial part, you learn how to manage people. So yeah, I just wanted to gain that type of experience, I guess, by myself. It has more always been to satisfy my own curiosity. And in that sense, I'm not a kind of maybe typical entrepreneur, you know, like some of them, you know, would do it really business focused for money, while I always just wanted to fulfill my own ambition. So in that sense, I'm more an artist or an artpreneur than an entrepreneur. The company, for example, I have now is a perfect reflection of who I am as a person. It combines all the things that I love, all the things that I want to pursue. And I'm always pivoting until I'm completely aligned with that thing that I actually want to do.
Wow, that's really, really interesting as well, because you essentially designed a business or business model that's true to yourself.
I design my life like everyone should do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, tell us more about OviSquare. What problem is OviSquare trying to solve?
So I will maybe, just before I go to that, I will just provide a bit of background. I created OviSquare while I was working for a company, creating crafting content, virtual reality and augmented reality content. And I absolutely love the content they were doing. We call them like hyper reality type of content. So really high quality of experience. When I say content, they were experience for the entertainment industry. And they were based in Europe and offering those type of experiences in the US as well. They were not that keen to offer the service in Australia because Australia is such a small country. And so I started to set up OviSquare to distribute their content.
Right.
And by engaging with the entertainment industry, I had more and more requests for them to create content. So for me, to produce content for them. They wanted to have their own content. And then I realized that the business industry actually also had those type of needs. So it's more like purely opportunistic. So I've been really opportunistic, depending on the need of the person I had, and depending on on one way how I could actually make money and service my clients, and on the other way where I actually wanted to go. And at OviSquare, we have two sides. One which is really business focused, where we use virtual reality and augmented reality as business solution. And in that space, we mainly work for what we call the AEC industry, so for engineering, architecture, and construction. So for more, really business-focused solution, like how we could assist a company to gain efficiency, how we could assist people to, again, work better together, on specific projects. And the second side of the company is more artistic, and it's the one that I would like to develop more and more, which is the creation of stories for more creative and artistic purpose.
Nice. I'm really intrigued with the augmented reality and virtual reality space, because I think slowly but surely, I know people used to say, oh, there's no use playing games, and that kind of thing. But now it's coming to that space where a lot of our interactions with a lot of these applications is now becoming very augmented. So, something as simple as, those filters on our social media.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of our augmented reality and how we're now using that to sort of either tell stories and share with everyone that kind of experience. And in terms of your own experience in becoming an entrepreneur, was there anyone that you looked up to growing up who inspired you to sort of venture into your own space and create something for yourself?
So that's an interesting question, and it's the reason why sometimes I will say something really controversial here, but sometimes I'm a bit asking myself the value of my talk could have and the influence it can have, and if it's worth it, if decisions are not taken at a government level, all right, I'm a voice and I can maybe, show that there's some people creating companies, but I'm not sure that it will change much things. And the reason why I say that is because while growing up, I didn't have any model. And I actually felt that it's because I didn't have any models that I could be who I wanted to be. I actually felt that because I had no model, like no now I will sound old, but we had no Pocahontas in my time. Like I really had no model to know on anything, and it's the reason why that I could go anywhere and do anything, because anyway, I was whatever I was about to do, maybe I would be the first one. Living for 10 years in Asia, I was, I don't know, maybe one of the only person with curly hair that people would see, or I was one of the tallest in China, and it was fine with me. It was, I don't feel that I really had like really strong model. I just knew that I wanted to do things, and I wanted to, I have ideas, and I just want to realize them. But I've never been like I don't have one model. I can provide names of artists that I think that are brilliant, or I enjoy their work, or I enjoy their creation. But I don't have like one model that I really, connect or resonate with.
Yeah, that's a very interesting perspective, because I think often you think, oh, I need to see someone in order for me to achieve anything. And then with how you have crafted your own life and your entrepreneurial journey is, you said, okay, great, well, there's no one, so that means it's me. So let me figure out what I want to do. And literally the world was your oyster, and you could do and be whatever it is that you want. And I think it is a valid point of view as well, because sometimes I think we wait to for someone else to do it before we want to do it. But well, you're a living testament that you don't necessarily have to wait for that. You can do whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you choose to, for your mind to achieve. So I think that is very, very important. And then point of view.
I won't deny that I've been super lucky. I'm born in the the right country. I have I've been loved as a child. I won't deny like that I'm super lucky, and I have a strong mind, a strong will. Said that I'm not afraid to fail is a bit strong, but I don't have problem with failing. Like I'm really happy to try things, and it doesn't work, but I tried, and I'm really happy I tried. So definitely there's a side of my personality, like I'm super, super optimistic. I'm entirely optimistic for anyone. So there's definitely a side of my personality who allows me to be who I am, and I'm super lucky to have all that for myself. But so everyone is different and have their own strengths and their own weakness, and I have plenty of weakness as well. And at some point you just need to accept to look at yourself in a mirror and say, okay, right, what do I see? Do I like that? What do I want to do to continue or to change it? And take the decision and stick to it. And most of what I may sounds like really easy is just lots of hard work. Hard work.
Yes, and a lot of
you want something, work for it. Like I don't believe in talent, I believe in hard work. So you want something, you work for it. You work, and more and more and more. And especially if you're a minority, you will need to work twice or maybe 3 times more.
Well, yeah, that is true. That is a very sad reality of the life or the world that we live in. Wherever you are a minority, you almost have to do the extra work for you to have some sort of recognition and visibility. And I'd like that, you are optimistic, and, you're able to leverage and have a better self-awareness and self-reflection to say, okay, I failed here. What can I do better? As opposed to trying to blame an outside force. So, which is really good. And speaking of which, in terms of your entrepreneurial journey, so you're a serial entrepreneur. You've had several businesses. What have been some of your biggest challenges that you've faced as an entrepreneur?
It's really, as I've just said, we have some strengths, and we also have weaknesses. And when you set up your company, you need to be able to surround yourself with people who will compensate your weakness. So it's something that you need to keep in mind when you decide to go and set up your own business. I strongly recommend to be at least 2 persons. I love doing things on my own sometimes because I feel that I will be more efficient that way, because I won't need to compromise as much on my vision. But I also think that it's great to have a partner to set up your venture, to set up your company. Learn from each other, support each other when it's needed, when times are a bit more difficult. So you can, have someone to support and discuss whatever you want to speak about. So I think it's important to surround yourself. It could be one person, or it could be, like a group support, but we are never an island. So I think that it's important to build a support system to align on what you want to do. On what was the most challenging for me. So this part maybe. What else is difficult? All the weaknesses. I'm not a big fan of doing some activities for my business, and you still need to do them. So I have the same problem as everyone else when procrastination time happens. So you need to set up goals and make sure that you reach them every time or refine them. But I'm a strong believer in iterative process. So I advise whatever you do, start small and iterate and change it. And it's for everything that you do. It could be just a presentation, start with 1 slide, then do 2, then 3, then 4. Start with a structure anyway, but you know what I mean. On anything that you do, don't wait for the perfect time of the perfect situation, or meeting the right person, or not having a dog, or whatever the excuse you give yourself. If you want to do something and you feel it in your heart, just maybe listen. Maybe it's something you've never done before. Maybe it's on the opposite of I don't know, the value of your community, or whatever it is. If you feel like doing it, just maybe listen and start somewhere. Go and engage with someone, ask questions. If you have someone, I don't have one specific model, but I have plenty of persons that I can look up, yeah.
Yes.
And one of them is actually a woman I met online a few weeks ago, and I just I don't know, like something resonated in her LinkedIn profile. Like I don't know, something just clicked, and I just contacted her, and now she's my new mentor. We will have 6 sessions together, and we work on a specific goal. But she ticked all the boxes, and I just felt that I wanted to contact her and learn from her and learn from her journey. And it's a bit random, and I'm sure she never received a weird person like just contacting her to ask for help. And and she's super busy, but I felt like doing it, and I just did it. And I think that maybe sometimes we ask ourselves too many questions, instead of doing. But again, it depends of your personality. I'm a doer, so I enjoy doing things because I found them exciting and I want to just realize stuff, do stuff, but we are all different. And so you need to see what works for you. You know, it's not a recipe works for all. But the thing that I think works for everyone is just listen to yourself, you know, follow your heart, and you're unique. We are all unique, and enjoy, you know, your weirdness is your superpower. So
I love that. I love that.
Just do it.
Is your superpower. And as you mentioned, I think we labor too much on, you know, being afraid of starting something, and as a result you don't end up doing anything because you're like, oh, it's too hard, or waiting for the perfect moment, when sometimes you just need to trust your instinct. And you know, there's a reason why you're having that instinct and having the confidence to sort of pursue it. And yeah, that's a really great way of looking at, you know, someone who may be considering wanting to start a business but isn't sure, but knows that they're really passionate about it. There's something that they've identified that they can do. I think it's absolutely worthwhile just, you know, having that courage to just do it. And see what comes out of it, because you never know.
Yeah, I will maybe just add a bit of bemol on everything that I've said. You need to be ready to work on your ideas. It's not about having one ideas and, you know, whatever crazy ideas is to know that you will be able to focus and have a plan, you know, like planning your journey and where you actually want to go. So starting with your purpose, you know, what you actually want to do with your life, and then make it flow back to the smallest activity you can do to you know, to get there. And maybe I make it sound maybe not easy, but it's not easy. It's hard. It's lots of work. It's dedication and persistence. So it's not like, oh, I have an idea and I will just follow my heart. It's okay, right? I know I can do that, or start, you know, that small side business to start with. See if you have an audience. Like if you don't have an audience, if you don't have, you know, a customer, you're solving, you know, a problem, it could be irrelevant. So it's not only because you have one idea, follow your heart, you know. Maybe I make it sound a bit too romantic. It's you have identified a solution, a problem, and you check your assumption to make sure that it's actually a sustainable problem. You make sure you will have an audience, you will have customer for your product or your services or whatever you have to offer. You need to make sure that you will make enough money to be able to survive and live. You need to have a plan. It's not like, you know, I stop my job and I follow my heart. It's how I can put myself in a situation to achieve my goals. And if my goals is, I don't know, selling nail polish, yeah, okay, right, I want to do that. What is the audience? How much money could I do? How would I start? What will be my MVP, my first 5 customer to check my hypothesis and validate them. And then you can start, you know, 5 customer, maybe 10, or maybe, you know, a test on 10%, and then, you know, 20 and maybe 50, and grow that way organically, or by raising money. But yeah, it's I don't want to sound too romantic. You know, you need to follow what you wish to do, but also to make it realistic for your living situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is so true, because it's one thing having an idea, it's another thing when you're executing it,
Yeah.
identifying, am I solving a problem? Is it a problem? Who is going to be my customer? Who needs it? How am I solving the problem? Is there anyone else who's doing it in a similar way? Will I be different? And then again, as you
Competition.
said, that validation, constantly validating your idea on whether it's relevant, it still works, because again, that's how you then create sustainability within your business idea. And it's often, a lot of people miss that important piece. Someone can be passionate about, maybe let's say I want to start a restaurant, and then you want to start a restaurant in an area where there are 50 other restaurants. So it's like, well, how are you different? So then you then have to decide, do you need to open a restaurant in that particular area, or should you sort of move to a different space, or identify where the need actually is? So that you raised a very, very valid and very important point in terms of expanding your idea. And so with OviSquare, what is next for OviSquare? What does OviSquare aim to do in the next couple of years or so?
Yeah. So I mentioned I've been working with business, with transport, with all kind of really heavy kind of industries. And I absolutely loved it, working on both sides on their strategy with UX design, and then on the just delivery of the solution. So first, identify what they would need, and two, implement it, and creating team to deliver great product that would add value to their specific business. Now, I'm really much more interested in working on that creative space where I create immersive multisensory stories. So they are stories, and usually purpose-driven stories. And I use the same technology, so immersive technology, but I also use multisensory. So I play with all the senses of the body, and I have a strong interest for olfaction and gustation. So the sense of smell and taste in immersive environment. But I also play with temperature. You can just play with all the senses, and I just create stories that mix and blend all the senses to create emotion.
Wow, sounds very intriguing and exciting.
Yeah.
And
So,
you operate in a very niche market as well. How has been your experience starting a business in such a unique and fairly new market? Because not many people are aware of, some of this technology and what you can use it for.
So I will just finish up with the one before on the project we are kind of developing around storytelling and immersive storytelling. We are just refining an MVP, so minimum viable product, which is just a short story you can smell in virtual reality. It's a story on friendship. It's just to test a device, like a 3D printed Centec device. And I'm really happy as well to work with a community of Centec people. So we are refining that experience. So that's great. I may have an exhibition starting on the 8th of September, but depending if the art gallery will be open or not here in Sydney. Otherwise, the exhibition maybe next year, if we can't make it happen this September. And yeah, just I'm really interested in working with more and more artists. So in the next years, I would like to develop more working for museum, I would love to do that, and working just for more experiential on that space, like just continuing developing the stories that I like, that I think the world need, because I feel it's a bit both. I feel that I enjoy sharing stories, but I also enjoy changing people's perceptions on different things. So that is the future for OviSquare, trying to work less for business and much more for creative purposes. And then on your question, how it is to start in an industry which is pretty new. I don't know. It has been a growing business. As I told you, we started first with distribution, then with a bit of production, more for entertainment, and then moving for more business related and completely opportunistic, just because someone had a need and just we could make it done. So it has been learning all along the way, convincing one client at a time on the value. When you work with the clients, they need to understand the value you will deliver, and you need to be able to price it. So, it's just how much it will cost and what will be the value, and you need to just align. It's not easy. Again, I can't say only I get lucky, but I get lucky to be recommended for my work. Word of mouth worked a lot for me. So the work and the experience, and you just capitalize on what you've done in the past, the people you've been working with, and if it works well with them, they will tell their friends, or
that's so true. And you raise another valid point in terms of, considering you're in such a niche market and something that's fairly new, it might be difficult to articulate the value to the customer. So as you mentioned, being clear on how your product or your service is going to help the customer actually, gives them that buy-in to sort of say, okay, yeah, this is something that I can sort of try. Because it's definitely something new, something different, that is not yet being done widely. And I'm really excited about, learning more or seeing more of some of your creative artwork that you will do in the multisensory space. Have you got any existing exhibitions or work that people can sort of interact with virtually at present?
So you can go online and have a look at some video of some past projects. I wanted to build on what you just said before, but I just forgot. Sorry. You were telling me just before jumping to that question.
Yes, about the customer value.
The value and customer. Okay, right. Sorry, I forgot. Anyway.
It's all good. Well, what are some of some final remarks that you may provide to someone who's aspiring to start the entrepreneurial journey and isn't sure, or even want to venture into something completely new that hasn't been tried before, or a new market or a new industry? What advice would you provide to them?
So I know it may sound new, but for me, virtual reality and augmented reality, it's not new at all. And I hear it from everywhere. I see it for every industry, for every department within a company, and I can see how it will assist people to work better and how it saves them money. For example, during COVID, one of my clients is a solar company, and they needed to train their employees, and more specifically because they were opening new offices in South America. And the best way, compared to what they were doing, was just to use immersive technology. And, like for training purposes, it would save them the money to travel, to have to fly, to provide a one-on-one training. So you need to really understand, like your customer and the value you will bring with what you have to offer. So my first advice is, before you even start launching your venture, just make sure that all your hypotheses are valid. Validate. Make sure you validate that there's a need for whatever you want to offer. If you want to offer, I don't know, I will go back with the example of nail polish. Set up a Facebook page and explain, your nail polish concept, and check if people are clicking. It's as easy as that. Like, do people interact with what you actually want to offer? Do you, for the people you think that who would need your product, are they actually interested? When you speak with anyone on your project, and I strongly advise you to share your ideas with as many people as possible. When you ask them what they think, like what are their feedback? Like, listen to anyone's feedback. Try not to ask your family and your friends too much, because because of the bias. But when you explain your ideas to someone, like, how do they react? Are they interested? Or what are the arguments they have for it maybe not to work? Listen to that as well. It could assist you in pivoting to another ideas, and maybe instead of nail polish, you will offering, I don't know why I look at my nails, but something else, earrings.
Yes, yeah. I think every experience is a learning experience. So
yes, it is.
I get what you mean. Absolutely.
Definitely. I will not hide that it could be difficult, and it's a terrible number, but yeah, you have 16,300,000% less chance to raise money as a woman of color compared to a white man. So yeah, so there's difficulty there. Does that need to keep you from doing and trying? And no, go for it. Like, if you have an idea and you can test the hypothesis, and you can actually, you feel that there's something, go for it. Like, definitely strong encouragement, good vibe. Follow your heart, but be reasonable as well. But yeah, you're unique, and what you have to offer to the world is unique as well, and don't hesitate to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for those insights. It's been such an absolute pleasure just learning about your experience, your journey as an entrepreneur. So many gems that I've already taken away myself in terms of, my own entrepreneurial journey. So really, really appreciate your time and your insights. And I know that, a lot of young people will take some insights from this. And again, entrepreneurs are different. And as you said, you need to know yourself, know your purpose, know your strengths and weaknesses, be passionate, go for it, but also, be practical about it. Make sure that you can commit to seeing that idea come to life, and learn throughout the process and enjoy the process, which again is something that people tend to forget to enjoy as part of it. If it's something that you're passionate about, as they said, if you enjoy what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. If you enjoy what you do, you never have to work, one day of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is such an amazing note to sort of end on. And again, thank you so much, Priscilla, for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Priscilla.
Have a great evening.
Same to you. And thank you everyone for joining us on this evening session. Next week, we'll be back again, same time, same place with another entrepreneur discussing their business enterprise and their journey as well. So catch you all next week. Have a good night.